I know I need to size up with you, and when I defang the Viper, trust me, ain't gonna come from nowhere. Jeff, I already put you out. I don't even know why you're out here right now. Keep on talking. Hey, do me a favor. Why don't you act like this is an AA meeting and you shut your mouth while I'm sharing with the group? And Mustafa, you out here, a boy among men. And I'm gonna tell you what, you got lucky at the Rumble, so I know you're gonna come out here and run your mouth about how bad you are. But let me give you a little bit of a reality check. You see, Mustafa, you said that my eyes don't lie. Well, your eyes don't lie either, because last week, they were closed real tight when I put your simple ass to sleep. And AJ, hey man, be honest with me. How's our old girl Wendy doing?
Welcome back to the Coarse Wrestling Podcast. It's me, Hafeez. With me, as always, is Devin. And we have three special guests with us here today. JD, Jove, and Kiki. Welcome in, fam. I want to say how y'all doing. I don't know which order to go in here, but just someone rattle out just how you doing, how you feeling. Kiki, we'll start with you. How you feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm live as usual. Yes.
Awesome. Yes, welcome. Officially welcome to the show. And then, JD, Jove, you've been with us before. Welcome back onto the show. Happy to have you. We're here to talk about Crown Jewel. A lot of stuff around this event. Controversy around this event. With should they not be doing this? But we'll focus in on the wrestling side of things here a little bit. And just talk about how we felt about the matches, because I'll be real. I'll start this off that I was not excited about Crown Jewel. There were some decent matches on the card, specifically the Seth Rollins Edge match that I was excited for, and I thought the build for the Brock Roman match was actually great. So those things kind of they piqued my interest. But for the most part, anytime you say Crown Jewel or any Saudi Arabia event, I'm thinking this isn't something I take seriously. Before, it used to not even be canon. They would just redo all the matches again on the next pay-per-view anyway. Yep. So I'm like, okay, I can miss this and see this on the next pay-per-view, where they're going to take it seriously. But whatever, So I did end up seeing this later on. I didn't see this that replay, day, right? Actually. I saw a replay, correct. And I actually knew some of the results before I'd actually seen the show. So there wasn't really a lot of surprise when I watched it. I kind of went in knowing. But overall, just in general, I felt like it was a decent pay-per-view. It was one where there was nothing that was like, oh my God, this is so terrible. I mean, there was some parts that I was like, why are we doing this, Goldberg? But, it was what it was. But there were some moments, especially the way they opened the show with the Hell in a Cell matchup. I thought that was really strong way to open, and arguably the match of the night right up front. That was awesome. The triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's Championship, I thought was a solid matchup overall. And that main event, I think the main event delivered on what, I was expecting was going to happen, and kind of continues the feud going forward. Who knows? Maybe they're going to draw this thing out to WrestleMania. We'll see. But overall, I felt like, okay, it was kind of a show where I didn't feel like, all right, they messed anything up. I felt like it was a solid show in general. Let's go, JD. What were some of your highlights, lowlights of this card? We'll kind of go around the horn and do a little bit some highs and lows from you.
So this pay-per-view actually surprised me. I don't take the Saudi shows seriously either. I always feel like it's not really a show for us over here. It's mainly for them. It's the fantasy booking of WWE. Bring back all the old wrestlers, throw them all in the match and things like that. And like you had said, a lot of the matches that happens over there, it don't even matter, because you throw a few together and then they come back to the States and it's as if nothing happened. And it always feels like if they really want to, change a title and they know that it's not a popular opinion, they'll do it over there. And it's pretty much like, we'll be sitting over here, typing drastically on Twitter and everything after it happens. But I came into it without really high expectations, but I was really pleasantly surprised at how good the pay-per-view was. It was I would say one of the best ones that they put out so far.
That's
You know,
fair.
from top to bottom. I enjoyed the Hell in a Cell match. I definitely enjoyed the triple threat match. I had said before I was hoping that they would give those women enough time to really put out a really good match. Low lights definitely was the Queen of the Ring tournament. You know, the a lot of stats started to come out afterwards where they said that pretty much the Hell in a Cell match was longer than the whole tournament.
Tournament.
So it's like,
Yep.
crazy with that.
That's insane.
Xavier Woods winning was definitely a highlight as well. The Goldberg match, wasn't really necessary.
I'm so mad.
It is what it is. It was Goldberg. There was a lot of bets online on if it was going to go longer than 7 minutes. And and the Roman and Brock Lesnar match was pretty good as well. But yeah, from like top to bottom, it was a pretty good event.
So Jove, will go to you.
This card was stacked to me, but I wasn't excited because it just felt inconsequential. Because the draft happened a week and a half ago. So, like, had they did the draft a week after Crown Jewel to leave some kind of suspense in the air, I think I would have been a little bit more excited outside of the Thursday lunch special thing that had going on, right? But yeah, had they waited just a week for the draft, like, yeah, I think I would have had more excitement going into it. But like the card on paper, it was a huge card, stacked card. Low lights for me, yeah, the Queen's Crown tournament, that was what it was. The Raw Tag Team Championship match, I'll be honest, I didn't get to watch it live either. But on the replay, I kind of actually skipped through it all the way until the finish because that seemed to be like the most telegraphed match to me. So I was like, okay, well, how is Randy Orton going to hit this RKO this time? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Highlights, I liked the Hell in a Cell. I liked I really liked Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. To me, that was kind of my match of the night, just because some of the in-depth storytelling, which we'll all get to. Overall, yeah, thumbs up for the show. I think my issue with WWE programming and pay-per-views is that I couldn't tell you the last time they've had a bad show, but none of it seems to feel memorable or tug on any kind of emotions like that. Nothing seems to really stick like that. Even when the in-ring works every show. I couldn't tell you the last bad show they've had, honestly.
Okay, that's fair. Kiki, on to you. Highs and lows.
I would say that the lows will probably be like he said, the Raw Tag Team Championship match, because I really don't care for Stanky Meat and Randy Orton as team champion. And also the highs, I will arguably say that Goldberg and Bobby Lashley actually had a good match. To me, shocking.
I'm not mad at that.
Put in a little work. He put in a little work. And he was a little bit in shape. For this match. So I'm like, okay, kudos to Goldberg working out a little bit for this. And Brock was in shape too. Oh my God, he looked scary.
Brock was a monster.
Yes.
Goro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, hey, big guys.
The bug
He was in shape. Like, Brock in shape was scary.
Yes,
it is.
Yeah.
Brock is scary. It reminded me of 04.
Still got that athleticism, that hop when he spear.
He's lifting trees back at the farm.
I don't know what he's been doing for the past month, but it's working.
Yeah, man.
Also, I love the triple threat. Of course, I didn't like the outcome of it. It didn't make sense. I thought Sasha was going to win. It makes sense to me if Sasha was on SmackDown. Just give it to. But whatever.
Yeah, that was all.
Whatever. And I did like Xavier winning. I didn't like how Finn lost. I didn't like that he lost to the elbow, but it's okay. I would say it was one of their best pay-per-views that they had this year.
Okay. Devin, I already know Roman Reigns' match was your favorite match, so I'll say that match.
You know what he gonna say. I already know what he gonna say. Yeah.
You know, Tribal Chief, man.
We know it too. Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, just get out the way, and then we
get out the way.
I'll just mention the low lights. To everybody's point, I didn't care about the RK Bro and AJ Styles almost match. I didn't care. I was out of touch. I was mostly on my phone, so I was out of tune. just like to show Vay's point about, you just fast forward. I might as well just fast forward because I was like, I looked up. All right, who saw who won? Like, figured, okay, all right, next one.
We already know. Let's just move on.
Right.
Yeah.
My highlight was actually, even though, bar burn of a match, Edge and Seth Rollins, just Hell in a Cell through the roof off. But the Man Story Mustafa match, that was slapping.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah. They had a story going working out, came together as singles, as tag teams.
Olympian that came down. That I was thrown off at first.
Same here.
The crowd popped. Saudi popped. They was like, who is this? I gotta Google this dude. Who is this dude?
And we all on Twitter like, who the fuck is that? Who is that?
Who is this? Guys, tell me, who is this?
Right. I don't know who this was. Man, Saudi crowd popped. Shout out to the Saudi crowd. They brought the energy. They loved the entire show. It was not a dead point in that energy that they had.
Everything.
Yes, everything.
They couldn't wait to get that This Is Awesome channel off.
They couldn't wait. Awesome.
They couldn't wait.
They chanted holy shit too. I was like, oh man.
I was surprised about that one.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, y'all allowed to say that? Like, right.
When they was saying it, I was like, hold on.
Yeah. Right.
Like, we don't need to see nothing live.
I was like, whoa. They brought it.
Nothing live now.
They made the pay-per-view crown jewel enjoyable. The Zelina Vega, whatever. You know what it was. 5 minutes. I was like, wow, okay, even for the finals, okay, cool, whatever.
You didn't want her to win?
I was cool with Zelina Vega. It was just, it was a short match. It was just 5.5 minutes. I was like, really? Okay. I thought it would go longer. Finals. This is the first time ever. Okay, whatever. To Kiki's point, Goldberg and Bobby Lashley.
Go ahead.
My feelings about Goldberg, you know how I feel, Hafeez, but it got me to mark out, and the match slapped. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, right.
Goldberg and Bobby Lashley. All right, I did not hate the match. I couldn't find myself to hate. I wanted to hate it. Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah. I even said, "Holy shit!" When Goldberg speared Bobby Lashley off the ramp into the top, I was like, "Oh shit, that was kind of deep."
Yeah. It's like we haven't seen him work like that since he been back in like forever. Right. That's why I was just like, he put a little work for Bobby. Okay,
Jackhammer. I was like, "Oh, okay." Clean with it. I'm like,
I held my breath on that one.
Right.
It was a little muddy.
Yeah,
it was a little muddy.
I almost killed him a little bit.
My breath.
I almost killed him a little bit.
And then Xavier, of course, I picked him to win. I went with my heart. I'm glad I did. Oh my God, perfect. Went against Prince, Balor. It was cool. And then, of course, the final, the beast, Brock Lesnar face, who's just seemed more of a beast now against the Tribal Chief.
Oh Lord.
The one.
Kicked off.
Man, can we bring respect to he brought the hands he brought the hands to Brock. He brought them, bro.
Really?
Brock was like, he was wobbling and shit. I was like,
stop it.
Stop it. I'm just saying. But those are my highlights. Those are my lowlights about, Crown Jewel. But not bad, man. It was a nice pay-per-view. One of their better ones.
Mm-hmm.
So this is good. So just even hearing the highs and lows from everybody, there's a lot that we agree on. There's some that cause, little bit of debate. I think we can be had with some of these. I'm gonna go into the Goldberg Bobby Lashley match, and we won't go through all these matches, but some of them that stand out, I think we should talk a little bit about. Goldberg and Lashley. So it seems like most of the panel here, was cool with the matchup. It seems like everybody was like not really anything negative to say about the matchup. For me, and I'm surprised, Devin, that you didn't go here with this, but Bobby Lashley, right, the monster, the beast that he's been, I still have a hard time believing that this version of Goldberg is gonna be able to do what he did to Bobby Lashley. Like Bobby he had to sell his ass off to really, for me to believe and understand that this guy that I've been watching just dominate, all this time, now is like, okay, he missed that spear where he was trying to spear him through the table, and then from that point on, there was like no offense from Bobby. He was just like, okay, Goldberg just took over. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I buy this, And now, what does this mean? So Goldberg is he won this matchup. Like, is Goldberg gonna? I mean, he's not gonna stick around and have more matches consistently for WWE.
No,
but
I think he got four more in his contract, 4 or 5 more.
Well, I think per year he does it's 2 events, and this was technically a third one. I think so. I think we're done for at least for the rest of this year. But I don't know. I just felt like, me personally, I want to see Goldberg help put over some of these guys that are going to stick around. Now, Bobby, we don't know how long he's going to stick around either. But the story to me doesn't make any sense anymore, because the whole thing about, you put your hands on my son. Bro, what? Your son jumped in the ring and attacked him. It's like if a fan jumped in the ring, we see what happens.
Tell him.
They put him down. In commentary, Byron Saxton this is what he's doing this because of his son and blah blah. And Corey Graves was the only one that made sense. He's like, look, guys, he messed up. He made a mistake. He ran in the ring, and period. You do not put your hands on a WWE superstar.
It was grown folks' business.
Exactly.
Thank you, Corey. At least somebody here is being honest that this doesn't make any sense why Goldberg is so pissed off. If anything, it should be Goldberg trying to discipline his son for being stupid and jumping in the ring when he shouldn't have. So
obviously,
Dominic sit down somewhere.
So just for me, it's like there's those elements that I was watching the match and I'm going, I can see this coming, because when we did the predictions, we kind of talked about this. Like, we could see it ending up being Goldberg that wins for his son.
Yep.
Yeah, we had that feeling, and I wanted to believe like, hey, no, they're gonna put over Bobby. Bobby's gonna stomp him into the ground. And for the first couple minutes, it looked that way. Bobby was gonna work. I'm like, okay,
pulled out that chain real quick. Soon as the match started,
you know what?
Ding ding ding.
I'm not playing games.
Yes.
Like, yes, Bobby. But they had to, for the storyline, it's like, okay, this guy, his son got beat up by Bobby, so let's let him get revenge. Okay, fine. But I don't know. It just didn't really do it for me. When it was over, I'm like, all right, let's just move on. Let's see the next match. But so that's just my 2 cents on why I'm kind of on the opposite of that fence, where for me, it's just like, logically, story-wise, the narrative, it just took me out seeing, everything transpire, and then Goldberg comes out on top against this guy that was just so dominant, and I just so anyway, I had to get that out. Any comments towards that?
But it's like what you be saying though when you said that Crown Jewel is really just like a fantasy booking anyway. So I had to kind of do that,
I mean, okay, so that's if we're saying like, hey, don't look at this like typically with Crown Jewel and with these shows that they do in Saudi Arabia now, or before, it was like it wasn't even canon. So if we just look at it like it took place in a vacuum, and that's just for that crowd, like, hey, let's just give them Goldberg winning a match in this fantasy type scenario that would never happen, just because let's just give them that. Okay, fine, I can get with that. So, and we'll see, because I don't know if we'll even Bobby, when he comes back, he's gonna have to address this though. Like, you lost.
I think they about to do Bobby versus Keith Lee.
You think so?
Because Keith Lee did attack the Hurt Business pretty bad.
Okay. Oh yeah, because he went against Cedric, right, on Raw.
Yeah, and then Shelton came out, and so I think
we can move right along. Okay. I like that. I like that for for both of them, really. I mean, Bearcat needs something serious. You know, like, he needs something serious to do.
Then he had to spray fade on too. I'm just like, oh.
that Beijing.
Oh man, I don't know. We'll see. But before we move on, anything more on Goldberg Lashley? Are we kind of
match slap?
Okay.
I didn't hate it, man. I didn't hate it. I really because I mean, if you saw, right, it's like thinking how the match started. Now, okay, let's go to the story. The story was kind of hammy. Like, we know Goldberg's not going to kill Bobby Lashley.
That's another thing. I forgot all about that. I was
like, he's not going to kill him, right?
God,
so that kind of threw me off a little bit, right?
Seriously,
going to murder you.
Yeah, right. It gives me license to kill William. Right?
Down.
So, but like the match itself, the story of the match made sense to me because, you know, if you remember the beginning, Goldberg attacked him from behind.
Right.
And then Bobby with the chain gave him the 1-2s and the 3-4s and then dominated for the next 3 to 4 minutes. And the only way Goldberg even got an upper hand was because Bobby Lashley made a mistake.
Yeah.
And Goldberg overcame and, you know, did what he had to do. I didn't really like how he treated Shelton and Cedric, who had kendo sticks.
Right.
I really
I knew what he was doing. So I'm like,
I appreciate
you
that.
put him out. Treat him like putty patrollers, man.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Right, real quick, bro.
Like, really?
Goldberg is an interesting study for me because I always watch how they use Goldberg. They use him differently than like all the other WWE legends.
Yeah.
Like Stone Cold's gonna get the stunners off. Taker's gonna get some choke slams, but Goldberg, like, you watch who they put over Goldberg. Like, Taker beat him, of course. That's Taker. But like, Goldberg's wins were over, I mean, Bobby Lashley in a match that hid that Goldberg isn't Goldberg anymore. He beat Dolph Ziggler. He beat The Fiend, who clearly they didn't see long-term plans for.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the story of Goldberg when he comes back, like they bank on his legacy. But the way they book him sometimes, just like, we're acknowledging he was a legend in the other company, but he's still old. So he's not going over everybody.
Because he love that man.
Yeah.
It's an interesting case study. How to use Goldberg.
Yeah. Vince, he loves him some Goldberg.
He loves Goldberg.
he thinks this Goldberg is the same Goldberg that was in WCW, you know, like doing jackhammers to the Big Show.
Goldberg can like come in and be like, I'm not losing to this person. And then, he not losing to this person.
That's not happening, right? Exactly. Yeah, he's got that kind of pull.
Exactly.
He had to get vengeance for his kid getting full Nelsoned up, though. He
wasn't even full Nelson.
That's on his son, though, man.
The villain can't win. The villain can't win that story.
Yes, he can. Yes, reality. And who's really the villain?
Right.
Exactly.
Somebody put their hands on your child, and it took you a month to respond to it. The promo, like,
he
didn't even come back the next week.
Right when at least came back the next day.
You know, they could have pulled a Seth Rollins, him showing up at the house or anything. He could have cut the promo of the lifeless body still gasping for air and everything. I'm like, man, you ain't serious about your kid, man.
You don't look that boy.
He's serious about your kid. You wait a couple of months just to fight him.
Right.
Meanwhile, Bobby Lashley showing up in 3-piece suits and everything, just looking like $1 million, and you over here.
And calling you out, talking about, you gonna kill me?
Man.
All right. So moving on through this here, I'm going to combine King and Queen of the Ring. And a couple things. Like, obviously, we've talked about, you know, our thoughts on just in general the tournament. JD, you said it, like, just the time span of all of the matches in Queen of the Ring versus the Hell in a Cell matchup. It's just a joke. Like, it's crazy. Now, you know, Zelina is Queen Zelina. I guess my thought now here is, how do you? Okay, let's play a little bit of fantasy booking around, you know, Queen of the Ring going forward. Like, if you were to redo all of this, you know, and you could do it, like, Would you have it be its own show? Would you do it on Raw and SmackDown again, but just have better, like bigger names? Would you save it and just like how? What do you think the best route is going forward for Queen of the Ring? We've done the first one, didn't really work. How do we? If we were to try to fix this ourselves, let's say, what ideas would you throw at them to try to fix it? Anybody that wants to jump in on this one?
I would say it needs to be along with a title shot. Mm-hmm. Like it's not being taken seriously like it used to be, because back in the 90s and everything, when you became King of the Ring, it was just like, another step up as far as your character. I mean, look what it did with Owen Hart. Look what it did to Stone Cold. If it wasn't for the King of the Ring, we would have never had Stone Cold. And so it feels like now it's just like, oh, we're going to turn them into Booker T 2.0. The King title is just for too. Cosplay nowadays.
You're right.
And so I feel, and thinking of it like that, we should have realized that this first Queen of the Ring wouldn't have been taken seriously. I had said it before, it should have been something bigger. They should have treated it like the first women's Royal Rumble or the women's first pay-per-view. Bring in some legends, bring in some NXT, make the bracket interesting. We could have had, Trish Stratus versus Sasha in the first Queen of the Ring. They could have put Becky, Bianca Belair, Charlotte, and Sasha in it. And I know they wanted to continue the story with the triple threat, which they could have did. One of them could have interfered in the other match or something like that. And then you would have continued that story later. And it should go back to the way it was when it was its own pay-per-view. Get rid of Hell in a Cell or TLC or something like that.
Extreme Rules.
Yeah, done. Get rid of exactly. Get rid of these gimmick pay-per-views. Make the King of the Ring its own thing, and whoever wins, they can get a title shot. Probably at like the December pay-per-view or something, to at least, because now we're kind of like in the dead zone with WWE with their booking, because they're working towards Survivor Series, and then after that it's just like we're going to throw these feuds together until the Royal Rumble starts, where all of a sudden the creative team like really have their brains back again and stuff. So as far as the Queen of the Ring, I would have made it like such a spectacular thing, do interviews and stuff like that. I mean, WWE really loves to like market to mainstream. They could have done so much more with this, but instead it really felt rushed. It felt like this was something last minute for Crown Jewel. Even with the King of the Ring, it felt rushed. And they could have had more brackets like they used to. And maybe, them doing 1-2 minute matches in the first round wouldn't have felt so disrespectful if there was, it's a bracket of 16. So, them having 3-minute matches don't matter anyway. It's just the first round. And they could have built the story of the winner. I felt as though Xavier Woods' win would have been so much more better if the bracket was bigger and you see him kind of like go through, facing different people, and so that when he comes to Finn Balor in the finals or whoever it would have been, that win would have been much more special because you kind of went through the process with him. I mean, it's big for him because he told the story for so long of how he wanted to be King of the Ring, but for like a lot of the casuals and everything, they probably don't even know like what's going on if you're not following him on Twitter or watching his YouTube show and things like that. They could have easily had done the story through. They could have done the story with Zelina Vega as well. She's kind of like the forgotten one, sort of like the heel underdog, sort of, and, kind of gone it from there. Because when they did the segment for her on Raw, she started getting that Booker T accent, I heard. And I'm like, what are they doing?
British accent.
She had a British accent. And I was like, where is this coming from? Because what she said on Twitter was a lot different. It sounded like she was going to, do a lot like an anime type of queen. But now it seems like they're going the Booker T route. So it's just like, it just feels like a big joke, especially to a lot of people who really like the King of the Ring. I always loved the King of the Ring tournament, especially pay-per-view back in the day, because it felt like it was one of the few tournaments that we would get, during the year when they would put different people together that we probably would have never had saw.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting is when you talked about Xavier and his just the years that he spent like talking about it, and you could tell how much he loved it. They didn't really talk about, they didn't show that in like any promo package or video, like, you know, show him like full clips from all of the different times where he's talked about, you know, King of the Ring from his channels, you know, like why not do that? Or just have a sit down interview, you know, like leading up to that final matchup, and then talk to Xavier, talk to Finn, you know, like NXT, you know, they would do those packages right before a takeover for like that main event. And they do it so beautifully where they used to, where it's just like you feel it. It's like, oh my God, like these two guys, and look at the story and this and that. They could have done that for Xavier and done that for Finn, you know, Prince to King, you know, and Xavier finally becoming King of the Ring, and really make it seem like both guys are really into this. And same on the women's side. Talk about Doudrop. Talk about her as Piper Niven in NXT UK and her road, and then, you know, everything she's been through. And then Zelina, like, hey, let's get real with this. She was gone out the company. She was fired. You know, she was out the company. She came back, and now she's here with an opportunity to be the first ever Queen of the Ring. Like, even if you just take, like, let's say we didn't change anything, but we just added more love and care to the story, I think people would have been more invested. Like, honestly, that's just kind of the easy way to just like, hey, sprinkle in some love here so that we as viewers can say, you know what? Damn, like, look at how much this means to them. You know, this is a huge moment. And then I love what you said too about give them an opportunity. Not only are they queen and king, but now they have maybe an opportunity at a championship. Like, now that you're queen, now that you're king, hey, you get to choose the champion or you're choosing to face off against, you know, at a pay-per-view down the road or whatever. That's cool too. That's just great. Like, so I feel like, yes, they could do, you know, a full pay-per-view, you know, they could put more people. I think all of that I would be all in for, you know, like they did with Mae Young Classic and you know, the Cruiserweight Classic, make it its own thing. You know, that would be amazing. But even just showing some love to what they were doing right then and there, if they literally just take some time to do promo videos for these to build it up. They didn't even try to build it up. They were just like, hey, here it is.
They released the bracket same day. It's just like WWE is its own enemy. Like, I really don't get, like, I guess whoever's in their marketing team like failed college or something like that, because you could easily, because I know they love to market to casuals, but it's very easy to, as we see with a lot of shows like Squid Games, for example, there wasn't that much marketing. It was all it was all by word of mouth. All you have to do is just get people to care, and, you know, everybody will start talking. You know, everybody will, hey, did you see this? Did you check this out? And I just don't get why WWE, they have enough money, they have enough resources, you know, they website, breaking news, this, that, and the third, of why they can't just market it more. Because now they marketing NXT 2.0 more than they did with the black and gold NXT. And it's like, had you guys had done that the whole time, NXT would have been beating AEW on Wednesdays. Because I'm like, your casuals don't even know what it is. They don't know, well, why should we care about it? Who's this person that's coming up? Who's carrying Cross? Why should we care about them? You know, I like Jeff Hardy more. It's like, you know, it's your own product. You know, at least care about it versus, you know, and they don't even care about Raw, truthfully, from what we always hear about the rewrites and everything like that. So I always say, like, WWE is its own competition. It's its own enemy. You know, it really is.
It always has a lot to do with creative only focusing on just certain. They put all their energy towards the, you know, tribal chief. They put most of the, they always put the ideas to him, or they, you know, they barely doing anything with Big E as far as creative wise. They keep, you know, Slick putting him in these, you know, these tag, you know, the tag matches that he just so my thing is, I'm like, it's so much stuff and ideas you can do with everybody. Y'all used to do it before. I don't know why it stopped. Roman Reigns shouldn't be the only one with the great ass storyline. Everybody deserves the same thing.
Seriously. I agree.
That actually,
Tribal Chief gets special treatment.
What? Well, before we move on, because I do want to talk about Big E. Like you brought up something, and I just want to bring that up. When it comes to Queen and King of the Ring, anything else to add, Jove, Devin?
I agree with you, Fees. It just, as far as the Queen's Crown goes, it just needed more time.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all it needed to me. Like the Women's Revolution feels like a thing of the past, but I mean,
they were just riding the wave.
Yeah, you could build great challengers in a loss. It's not who goes over, it's who gets over, right? That's what they always say.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you just put more time in the matches. Even if you lose, you got to showcase and you show that you fought hard for your spot in the tournament versus a 2 to 3 minute match. To where a Doudrop defeating a Shayna Baszler, a newly violent Shayna Baszler, means a little bit more. I picked Doudrop to win because I thought they were just going to go the troll route with the Queen. I'm glad Zelina won. I'm glad Zelina won.
I thought so too.
It's right there. La Reina. It's right there. She ain't got to do the whole British thing. La Reina. It's right there. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
So just with a little more time in each match and more vignettes and just what it really, really meant. I hadn't even correlated that. It may have just been something just do for Crown Jewel because kings and queens and crowns. But a little more time, I think it would have been that much better, Queen's Crown. Real briefly, I picked Xavier Woods to win too. It was tough because I had an idea that, maybe Xavier wanted it too much. And so, take it away from him.
Seriously. That's why I had picked Finn. I thought they was going to be like, you know what?
I am a Finn Balor guy.
I love
it. Same. Yep.
The whole top rope thing that they never even acknowledged. I'm still a little tight about that. So I didn't like that he was like the guy Xavier beat.
Yeah.
Because now, Finn is always a prince, but now he's the prince because he wasn't good enough to be king.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
Oh, don't make me cry.
I hate that for him. Yeah. I hate that for him, right?
Don't start.
I hate that for him. Right? You still the prince? Okay. All right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to know what happened to that rope.
Right.
Seriously.
So,
he almost got hurt.
Man.
Lawsuit. I'm suing. I'm
right. Workman's comp.
Yes.
Paying
me. What the hell was that?
They really act like that never happened, though. That's the crazy part.
Yeah. I know.
I
know.
How?
I was like, all you had to do was just show Paul Heyman with some scissors or something, That's it. That's all you had to do. And just him say it's for my tribal chief. That was it. We'll all understand.
That was God. That was God came down and sniffed them.
God intervened.
God. They don't play with the demons.
Almost busted ass.
See, when the tribal chief looked up, he looked in the air.
He kind of broke and checked on him a little bit, though.
Yeah.
Like, he did the hand movement.
Yeah.
My hands did like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, yeah. Devin, you got anything on that?
I also just say something real quick about the King of the Ring tournament. If they was going to make it short, to your guys' point, add that emotion, add the promos, so you can feel that and make it more personable to us. Like, oh, okay, I can see why Xavier Woods really wants to be King of the Ring. Not just because if you just know that you follow his career, you already know how important this is. Now you're able to tap into those casuals because you're showing the visual story right there. And they could have did that for the women as well. If you're going to just give them these little short matches too. This is the first Queen of the Rings tournament. Should have added some legends. We mentioned this last week, maybe Trish Stratus, Lita, Beth Phoenix could have get in the mix.
I'm sure they would love to be in it.
Yeah. Miss opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't like how they kind of digging at Charlotte with that Queen thing, though. Did you hear what they said?
No.
They said the only and first Queen in the
there was something. You didn't catch that.
Don't do that.
The one official, the first ever official queen. Or something.
Like,
yeah, Corey said that.
Yeah. During commentating too, Michael Cole said everyone remembers the first king, Don Morocco. Cole, don't nobody remember Don Morocco in 1987.
Like you show your age.
I remember they had like a special on Fox, like top 10 kings.
That was
I don't think that they really focused on just the like you said, right? It's almost like we know that Xavier Woods loved King of the Ring because of social media.
Right.
But it's almost like the Zack Ryder effect, right? Zack Ryder got hot off the internet.
Exactly.
They didn't want that part, right? They if it wasn't on TV, if it's not a product of us and our brain trust, we don't want it. But yeah, to speak to the King of the Ring, they could have just the pageantry of past winners: Brock Lesnar, Steve Austin, Bret Hart, Mabel. Like they could have. No joke. No joke. Come with me. Walk with me.
They had Macho Man below. You know they had Macho Man below Corbin on that countdown.
See, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They got paid. That was paid promotion.
Triple H.
Yeah,
that was a paid promotion.
That's already now. Okay.
Macho King under
and
Macho
I'm
King.
done.
No. Yeah, click.
Really done.
Oh my goodness. Kiki, you brought up Big E, and that I actually have been thinking about this, and I love Big E, and I feel like he has such an opportunity. They have such an opportunity. The WWE is with him to be the face of Raw. But I felt something when you were talking as far as the booking of Big E so far in the tag matches. So say more about that, because I feel like they maybe are course correcting a little bit with him going against Seth coming up pretty soon. There's an opportunity there to give him a storyline, and maybe that love that they have for the booking for Roman Reigns. Let's throw some of that creative with Seth and Big E. Let's try to create something for more than just the Tribal Chief. Let's keep that going. Don't stop telling those great stories, but let's put some of that love to Big E too, so that he feels legit. Because it's right now, I don't know. So, what are your thoughts about Big E? I want you to kind of go more into that, and I want to know how you feel leading into him going against Seth, a true heel, maybe an opportunity there for a good storyline.
I'm just saying, because the past Raw champions that's had it has not have to do that. Like, as soon as they get the belt, they start putting them in like tag matches, or like the match that he had, of course, with Tribal Chief and the Usos and the New Day. That was fine. But pairing him up all the time with Drew McIntyre, for what?
Yeah.
Why are you pairing him up with him when he got to face him? Why keep doing that? And then I'm kind of scared. I'm really scared that he's going to lose to Seth, so they can set up the Seth versus Roman at Survivor Series.
Yeah. I feel that. I felt that too. When I was watching that whole thing go down, I'm like, oh my God, if Seth wins, he goes against Roman finally. Like, I could see
that's
that
why I was
happening.
like, oh Lord.
I hadn't thought of that. And
I literally didn't think about that either.
When he when he won it Monday, I was like, because I was right the first time when I was like, okay, with Bianca, I was like, okay, Bianca's gonna get that title, but she only get it because they're gonna try to bring Becky back, because they trying to set up that Becky versus Charlotte, and you see what happened. I'm like, trying to set up this Roman versus Seth.
Oh my God. If they do
and
that,
they
to
threw it on
Big E,
Monday too.
I'm scared. I am.
They like to pull the
switch right before.
Switcheroo right before. They like to do that before Survivor Series.
Someone is not making it to Survivor Series with their championship.
Yeah,
you got Becky.
Tribal Chief,
Bianca.
He is exempt from that.
Well, Roman's gonna be champion.
Probably Charlotte.
Roman's gonna be champion. But everybody else, they're on notice.
Right. I'm like, ooh, I was just like, maybe they would say, nah, we're going to do something with Big E, but I'm just, it's not.
I hope so. Because Big E had been telling Paul Heyman too, like, hey, like he would, at first it looked like maybe he would challenge Roman Reigns, but he didn't do that. But now there's an opportunity to pay that off. and you've got when like you said the 6-man tag match that they did, and the Bloodline won that matchup. There's unfinished business there. You go to Survivor Series, Big E versus Roman. Let's see. I mean, and that's one where Roman. I mean, I know Devin's gonna say he's gonna win that match, but even if Roman lost, he doesn't lose the championship, and that would do so much for Big E. For Big E to beat Roman.
But Seth been wanting. He been wanting his opportunity too against Roman.
True.
Yes, he did.
True.
Yeah,
and there's
they didn't pay it off.
Putting it up too with that.
Yeah.
So
I think he wanted the championship more than Roman, though. I would love to see that match, not the expense of Big E. But I think Seth Rollins' motivation is more so the championship than it was a match against Roman. And Roman just happened to be the guy who held the championship. So now he's on Raw. Give me all the smoke for Big E. Like, he doesn't. I'm not sure if the Roman aspect is a thing as much as it's just the goal, the status.
For Seth, I can see that. Yeah, man. Devin, what you thinking about all this with
with the Big E scenario? With Big E, like I say, at the end of the day, I always look at the wrestling business from the business side. And when I look at Big E and I see him outside of WWE, see him on ESPN, College Game Day, doing promos, I'm like, okay. They're putting him in that spotlight. They're giving him, that responsibility to be the face of Monday Night Raw. Come on, because you're not face of the company. I'm just saying. Gotta get that in there one more time.
He could be, though. He could be.
Perhaps.
You're on the wrong show for it.
Perhaps. If the tribal chief want to take a vacation or something.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Right. Okay.
Just saying. But for Big E, I do see that maybe they're going to take care of him for the WWE run because they're giving him Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins matches have all been slapping. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I can't wait for them to tell a story between for the WWE title for Big E, especially Seth Rollins, man. Because Seth Rollins, he's the visionary, the sadistic visionary.
Yeah, man. He's killing it right now, and it made so much sense for him to be the guy, to go against Big E. He was the only heel in that ladder match. I'm like, yeah, this should be him. You know, so I mean, everybody coming out saying the resumes. When Rey Mysterio came out, I'm like, Ray, no, stop it, no. It's okay, no.
He did his thing in there, though.
He did. But yeah,
he'll deliver when he needs to.
Yeah.
I wonder what it says that like we talked about our highlights and lowlights, and even in the discussion, no one mentioned the match with Drew McIntyre.
I was thinking that too, and I think that kind of illustrates, like with Big E, it's I don't want it to be like Kofi where he's champion and it's just like, okay, it happened, but it's not memorable, Right. And so with this matchup with Seth, I feel like there is an opportunity if they tell a great story to make it something memorable. Because him and Drew, it's just like it just kind of happened. Even when we're doing predictions, we're kind of like, all right, we all agree Big E's gonna win.
Right. Yeah, we did it real quick. You actually skipped it. I was like, hold on, bro. I think we skipped the match. Right.
We almost didn't.
And it kind of.
I was happy because I ain't want Goldberg.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
I want them to, because there's history with Big E and Seth Rollins. I mean, if we remember Money in the Bank, Big E hit that big ending off the ladder on Seth Rollins before he grabbed the briefcase. But even before that, if they even consider NXT a thing, Big E beat Seth Rollins to become the second ever NXT champion.
Bet you they don't talk about that at all.
Don't even touch it.
What NXT? NXT 2.0?
Oh,
1.0? No? Okay, yeah, no, it didn't happen.
Seth Rollins kind of did a little bit when he confronted Big E. He kind of did a little bit, like hinted a little bit. Because he said that we had history.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope so. Will they pull out the old black and gold?
Right.
the gold archive and show us tapes.
Oh no!
It's in black and white and whatnot.
It's in black and white. Right. Oh man, yeah. There's potential. Big E, he feels like a star, but it's not elevated to that like superstar level. I feel like just because they're not yet, at least, telling those stories that really grab you to say, damn. I feel like, honestly, I know that the WrestleMania match wasn't what it was supposed to be, but him and Apollo, there were points where that story I felt like was getting kind of personal. Apollo tried to kill this man, threw the steel steps on him, and then when he came back and they had that first matchup, and Big E was all emotional, like, this is what you want, and like talking to him and like beating his ass. I felt it. I was like, oh my God, like this is intense. They kind of ended it all, bogus, but I feel like there needs to be something like that. Like Seth needs to get personal with Big E. Get into his past. Like just break this man down so that Big E can really show us that passion. Because when Big E gets passionate, man, he be getting them those sermons. And you just feel it. Like it's amazing. So
he also gets scary when he's passionate.
Yeah, he gets serious.
When he gets serious,
it's a different side of him. When he told Drew, you like, you will never take this from me. I was like,
I was like, oh,
he's dead ass about that.
He believes it.
And that's why I was hoping we would get when he was, drafted on his own, that we would start to get a more serious Big E. Because, we got the serious Kofi. We kind of got the serious Xavier, but with Big E, they always did all the joking around and stuff like that. And I was hoping that we would get a little bit more serious with him, especially during his title reign, because we all kind of knew what it meant for him. But it seems like we're going back to the jokes and stuff like that. But I'm hoping, like you said, when he goes against Seth Rollins, that he will start to get a little more serious. And Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins is such a good heel. He can definitely get personal, and hopefully he'll bring that out of Big E. But we'll see.
And maybe that's what they want to present Big E as, right? It's like, hey, I'm jokes and jokes and until the funnies are over.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, it wasn't a personal rivalry with Drew McIntyre, but like that was a physical match,
Yeah.
So maybe that is a presentation. But I feel you. Like maybe you want a little bit more, serious champion on a more regular basis.
But I kind of like that because we're all human. We do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like because he's more relatable. Like we joke around, but when it's time, it's time, And I kind of like that. It's more authentic. It's real.
It's more human.
Yeah.
It's more human. And especially when it comes to champions, especially black champions, they always want to put black men in this. He got to be serious. He got to be mean. He got to be this and this and this and this.
True.
But I like how Big E get to be himself. I could be myself, but when it's time, it's time, and I'm nothing to play with when it's time.
Yeah. So. That's true.
Yeah. Great points.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the women's division in WWE, specifically relating to the champions right now. So obviously we had the triple threat match: Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks. Hilariously enough, too, like I went back and forth to the point where I even texted Devin. I said, "Yo, man, I think Bianca's about to beat Becky. What was it? Charlotte on Raw." And I wanted to switch my pick. He's like, "No, you can't switch your pick. Pick's in." So whatever.
I ended up. I ain't forced it. It is decided, sir.
I got the pick right because he didn't let me change it. So it is what it is. But the outcome of all of this was that Becky Lynch remained the SmackDown Women's Champion, and Charlotte, of course, was still the Raw Women's Champion.
Yep.
So fast forward to SmackDown, and we have this exchange that was supposed to happen, which didn't go quite to plan from what we're hearing, and there was some actual heat going on. There was some problems. There was some furniture movement, apparently. So, context for listeners, if you didn't catch what was happening, basically when they did the exchange, I guess it was supposed to be that Charlotte was supposed to hand over her championship first over to Becky Lynch, kind of, giving Becky Lynch a moment with both belts, and then you get the Becky 2 belts look to kind of tease that maybe happening again in the future. And then after that, Becky Lynch was supposed to throw the other belt, the SmackDown Championship, over to Charlotte. But what ended up happening was Charlotte, as the belt was getting passed over to Becky Lynch, Charlotte pulled the belt back and then it fell on the ground. So Sonya Deville, who's kind of managing all this, made Charlotte pick the belt back up, and then they redid it. Now, some people, like actually myself, I didn't even get to see that version of it. I don't even know if anybody, if the way they did it, because they edited that part out of the broadcast.
I saw the unedited version.
You saw the unedited
version.
Okay. So it was weird too, because I'm like, I knew this had happened, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, wait, there's a portion missing. And then I'm looking because I DVR'd it, but on mine I don't have, for some reason, the unedited version. So whatever. I mean, kudos to them for doing whatever they did.
Scrub it.
Scrub it. Twitter got it all.
Yeah, they said edit that now.
Yeah.
Right. And gone. We don't need that thing.
Right.
Seriously.
So
Too late.
yeah. And the whole point of this, I guess, from Charlotte's standpoint, is her giving up her championship first, and Becky holding both belts would have made her look weak. She didn't like that. And Becky felt a certain type of way because now, there's this disrespect that she feels because Charlotte's not doing business the right way. They got in the back, going back and forth. And apparently Charlotte was escorted out of the building because they didn't want anything else to go on. There's all this stuff going on. So there's a lot of things around this. Charlotte, does she have heat in the back, all that. But I think what I want to focus on is what Charlotte was saying about, will that make her look weak? And we're the audience. We're the ones watching this. We're the ones that, will determine, like, okay, she looks weak here, or, she looks strong here. Did that moment, like, do you think Charlotte has a point in, like, they shouldn't have done it that way, maybe do this another way so that she doesn't look weak? Or do you think that this is just petty and Charlotte should have just done business because Charlotte is Charlotte? Most championships, of all the women in the division, she's gonna beat her dad's record. Like, is there a point to what she's saying, or is it just, her being petty?
I'm kind of with Charlotte on this one.
Okay.
I'm with Charlotte on this one. First of all, the title, like, that shouldn't even happen this is WWE fault anyway.
Yeah.
Because Charlotte originally wanted to drop the title to Bianca in the first place.
On that Raw episode, she wanted to drop it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yep. Okay.
So it was tension even from that.
Wow. See, that background I didn't even know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She wanted to drop it to Bianca because it makes sense.
That would have made a lot of sense. Yeah. Versus this whole, like, exchange. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely agree this is WWE's fault. I predicted Becky to win on my show, The Hard Camera, only because Sasha and Charlotte are on the same show. So that wouldn't have worked out.
Right.
Bianca being a babyface, Charlotte being a heel. Bianca's not about to go with that whole title switch thing. So to me, it was okay. Well, Becky, Charlotte, they got smoke with each other's storyline, and apparently in real life, but they'd be the most likely to do the belt switch.
Right.
But as we saw last year with Street Profits and New Day, I hate the belt switch.
Yeah.
I'm a 30-year plus fan. You win and lose the belts in the ring, right? I hate the belt switch. I think this is much ado about nothing, because what could you do to Charlotte Flair that makes Charlotte Flair look weak? I'm on record as saying that Charlotte Flair, when Roman Reigns had the Roman Reigns heat, Charlotte Flair was Roman Reigns way before Roman Reigns was.
That's fair. Yeah.
There's nothing you could do that makes Charlotte look weak, because even if the roles were reversed, it's within both of their characters to not want to, especially with each other, to not want to hand the title to the other person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It would have been within either character had the roles been reversed anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, regardless of, what was planned, what wasn't planned, that's what, 14? Is it 14, 15? I don't even know how many times.
I think we're at 14.
It takes 3 hands to count her reigns. That's 14-time champion. Charlotte Flair, she'll be fine. She'll be fine regardless.
Yeah.
Most of her reigns were like 3 weeks anyway.
Right.
Exactly. 30 days.
She'll be fine. How many Money in the Bank cash-ins the night of just to bolster the numbers? Charlotte Flair will be fine.
Yeah,
she will.
But you know what that situation reminds you of? Shawn Michaels.
Oh.
Charlotte and Shawn Michaels in '97.
Exactly.
My man's smile was injured. Like, if you listen, you can wrestle hurt, you can't wrestle injured. And his smile was injured. I totally agree.
To look for it.
He had to hand it over.
He had to look for it.
If you can't go, hand it over.
Right.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't have made her weak. I think it was out of character for Charlotte to just hand a title over to Becky Lynch. So when she threw it on the ground, I felt as though it was perfectly in character. You know, thrown on the ground, you pick it up. That's your title. You know,
right?
And you know, you call yourself the queen and stuff like that, and it would have made zero sense for her to say, "Oh, here, Becky, you know, hold the belt, hold both belts right now," and so everybody could chant Becky 2 belts on top of that. And I felt as though
men open the ropes for her.
Exactly.
That's right.
Like,
Exactly.
And, like it was out of character, and like everyone said, I agree that it was WWE's fault because you're making you love doing these characters, but you're putting them in situations where what the character's about to do doesn't make sense. You know, it doesn't fit Charlotte at all. And even when because in the unedited version, Sonya Deville made Charlotte pick it up. And I was expecting Charlotte to just like walk out of the ring or something like that at that point. So when I heard afterwards that this was all like out of character and everything like that, I was like, well, what do you expect? You have Charlotte, you know, Charlotte carried the women's division while Becky Lynch was gone, you know, and you know, I'm hearing that, you know, Becky's the hero and stuff like that. And I was kind of looking at it from Charlotte's point of view because I'm like,
it's always two sides
Charlotte,
to the story.
Yeah, it's two sides to the story. So I don't really believe that Charlotte has such an ego backstage because I'm like, well, you made Charlotte carry the division for so long. You know, she got cashed in, she got defeated and all this other stuff. And then you have Becky just come back, you know, from maternity leave and then win a title in 5 seconds. And, you know, now Becky has the main story, whereas though Charlotte kind of got put on the back burner after carrying the division for so long. I mean, it was times where Charlotte wasn't on the show and a lot of people complained like, where's Charlotte? We need to bring back Charlotte. You know, Charlotte makes it interesting and stuff like that. And so, you know, for her to kind of like, as character and as a person to kind of like have to take a back seat because a company don't know how to put 2 people over at the same time, you know, I would be pissed off too. You want me to hand her the belt and so you can keep teasing this Becky 2 belt thing, and you know, they took away her title reigns on top of that, and it's like, you know, this simple title swap on top of it, it's like it don't make sense for her character at all. And then on top of that, her fiance's in another company, you know, the situation with, you know, her family and everything like that. So it's just like,
see the tweet from Andrade.
I know.
Andrade gonna ride for his woman. That's one thing he's gonna do.
Ride for her. She gonna ride for him. And I'm like, they ride for each other, and you know he's telling her what's going on over there, like, oh, it's so much better, this, that, and the third.
The time of his life.
He's main eventing, you know, putting in 15-minute matches and stuff, and she wasn't even on the card for Crown Jewel, you know what I mean? But, you know, Becky Lynch ends up on the title card in a very long match, and so you have Charlotte, who they always put, you know, first. She was in the first Hell in a Cell. She was the first to main event WrestleMania. And now you're like, because WWE doesn't know how to continue with their creativeness, you know, they're making her take steps back and kind of like go back into the shadow. And it's kind of been in the writing for so long. She put up middle fingers, you know, she's cutting promos out, you know, shooting stuff like that. The situation with Nia Jax. So it's like, I'm not surprised that this happened as well. She's probably tired. She wants to go. She wants to be with her man and her dad, you know, but she's stuck in this contract. She's stuck in this situation where she has to take constant back seats because WWE's ready to put over their new superstar. And, you know, now she's the older veteran who has to, you know, you got to put over this person. So she probably wanted to give up the title, give the title to Bianca. You know, I'll take a vacation. Like, you gotta think of it. Look what happened to her with WrestleMania. She rolled for her guy and they punished her for it. So the rumor was. And so it's like, I'm not surprised that, they wanted her to hand over a title. I would have threw the title down too. We're on live TV. What you gonna do? I'm not picking it up.
That's exactly what she did.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up, and then So I'm not surprised at all. I'm Team Charlotte with this situation. Like, I completely understand. How she feels. She's stuck. Unfortunately for her, she can't get out there, and they won't let her go. They will not let Charlotte go. Guaranteed.
I'm surprised she ain't say nothing back to Becky when Becky threw the belt at her.
Exactly. I thought they was going to start slapping each other.
Becky was tight.
Like, okay.
Yeah, I thought the pause was going to come out.
She wanted to call her B so bad.
Right.
Oh, man.
And then Sasha saved the day a little bit. Like, she came in on time.
I was like, awkward.
Yeah.
I think that was in y'all's Facebook group, the Clark discussion group, that if Sasha and Bianca acted this way,
they would have got fired.
the discussion would have been
Completely
They
different.
would have got fired.
Like, it's
Totally
entertaining.
different dialogue, bro.
The way we're talking about is entertaining, but had it been, maybe it
We
would
don't act like that.
Hey,
Somebody got fired for saying the word prick. And it wasn't on live TV, so
hey,
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll never forget Titus O'Neil getting suspended
Exactly.
forever.
Yeah.
Just for touching Vince.
He wilded.
Touching
He wilded.
Vince in it.
He wilded, but still.
Suspended.
What?
Damn, bro. I'm just trying to holler and say something in your ear real quick. And you get
I just wish I would have heard what the argument was backstage. They said it was loud. It got hectic and people had to break it down.
Yep.
Hey,
I believe
Stone Cold to get one of them on the podcast and just be like, so come what happened?
Crack open the IPA. Let's get down to the
Charlotte will tell it all.
Charlotte would
tell it all. I cannot wait for that interview. I cannot wait the day that she decides.
Or Jericho's podcast.
Jericho podcast.
Because it's easy to pinpoint Charlotte. It's easy to say Charlotte's the bad guy.
Yeah.
It's easy to say, like, it's her.
They're trying to put this narrative out
her.
there, but I look between the lines, though. It's like,
me too.
She got her side too. You know, I'm like, I don't fall for that bullshit. They trying to cover up, PC control and all that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you teasing the two belts thing, I mean, I'm pretty sure it rubbed not only her the wrong way, but a lot of people the wrong way. They just don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
Charlotte don't give a damn.
Yeah, Charlotte don't say
fuck. She gives zero fucks down. She got all the.
She just got back.
She want to flick off the crowd and shit. She want to slap box with Nia.
She got
slap box live right now. What you want to do?
Attitude now.
What you want to do? Ooh.
She got the neck rolling now.
Y'all think it was an accident that she dropped the belt? I know Fiji didn't see it, but who saw that?
Nah, man. I looked at it multiple times. She wanted her to pick it up. She wanted Becky to pick it up, so she dropped it. Like, no, you pick it up.
She went just like through it. She had it in front of her, turned it to the side, dropped it.
Yep. I cracked up when she did that.
That was
man.
And I think she took a step back too to give her space to go pick it up.
Man.
You can hear her say, if you want it, it's right there.
Savage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Spicy.
Well,
Sonya was confused. She's like,
what is happening?
Because actually, the report said that Sonya got involved too. The report said Sonya got involved in the argument. She wasn't with the funnies neither.
Yeah.
Reported in the dirt sheets.
That's wild. That's wild. Yeah, I could see both sides to this. I could see it from Becky's side, probably being excited about, the plan and her having that moment to have the two belts and everything and being upset about that. I get it. But then again, you guys bring up great points about Charlotte's side of it too. And just like, why are you expect me, but this my character would never do this. So why are you making my character do this? And this whole belt swap situation is just that is
I don't like it.
That is
like
you're the champion. you don't want to lose the championship just because you gave it away. Like, if someone's gonna take the championship from you, you want them to beat you. So I understand why Charlotte is cool, because she knows it's gonna happen anyway. So she'd rather have Bianca beat her than to just hand it over to Becky Lynch. It just makes so much sense. So it's
crazy. We predicted that though, that it would be a title exchange. Like we predicted last week.
Predict that.
Myself, JD, and Hafeez. We predicted Becky would go over. But there will be a title exchange.
Title
because of the Street Profits and New Day. That was on the table.
They
now.
Set the precedent.
Ever since they opened that door, I'm like,
but see, men handle that better. They,
all good now.
They walk out trying to get like,
this match my outfit anyway. Street Profits like we wearing red right now.
That had a smooth transaction.
Brothers don't handle that better. They was like, come on. That's how they look. Like brothers, like it's the same thing, just different colors.
There it is. Yep. Have the draft after the pay-per-view.
Women
have the draft after the pay-per-view.
As a woman, though, like That's
like
she came to her as a woman
in front of everyone on TV.
On TV.
On TV in front of everyone.
You gonna embarrass me like this? Hell no.
Commercial free.
Like, did y'all ask Roman to do that? So why y'all asking me to do that?
True.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all didn't even do it for the other titles. Like, come on.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Right.
It would have been better if Sonya Deville already had the titles in her hand. Like if she had the titles in her hand and then came out and then presented it. That would have made
they passed them directly to Sonya instead of to each other.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or just implement a rule, just like, hey, champions can't get drafted. They're on their brand. Or they can go to both brands. It's like
exactly.
Exactly.
So we don't have to, we don't have to cross that bridge when we get there. And here we are doing a title exchange.
Yeah,
exactly.
Missing them like drama, so they just kept it going. They just like, you know what?
Title exchange, wild card rule. They always make these bad.
Brand to brand, invitational.
Exactly. It's not all over again. It is what it is. So
I'm like, we got the 90s back, real beef. Yay. Pro wrestling is funny.
Sean and Brett all over again.
Hey, listen. They were friends until they were not friends.
Exactly. I can't wait for the
hey,
later
Survivor
on
Series
the year
coming up. Ooh, Survivor Series on the way.
It is on Friday. Charlotte's on SmackDown, so
get the documentary, the behind the scenes. I didn't like her ass anyway,
Listen, Screw Job 2021.
This would have been the perfect time to have Total Divas too.
Oh my
goodness! Could you imagine?
Man.
Yes, because we just seen the backstage the argument. I wish
I'm sitting here changing my
just for that. Just for I'm watching Total Divas.
I need to see that.
Just for that. My wife like, what you watching? Hey, it's about to go down. This episode supposed to go down right here.
You have Natalie like, I was in the middle of it. I was trying to break it up. It reminded me of my uncle.
I mean,
Natalie gonna make it about her. It reminds me of the time of my uncles when they used to do this, so I had to break it up.
My uncle Bret Hart.
Right.
It's like my Uncle Brett and Sean.
My Uncle Brett and Sean. I was 5 years old at the time.
It's not about you and your family. We get it.
You know what? Just take them in the room and let them just have a one-on-one and get it over with.
Get it out the way.
Just get it out the way.
Oh man. All right. So let's appease Devin and talk a little bit about the tribal chief, because we had that time. We had that time for him. So Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, it was a banger of a match. That match, it was great. It was awesome. Roman Reigns came out on top, with help. I did say there would be shenanigans with help.
I called that too. I said,
hey, okay.
That's on the table. Even God wanted to intervene. That was on the table too.
Was God on them ropes.
Now, so coming out of this matchup, it feels like this is not over. and there have been rumors about this going all the way to WrestleMania. So my question is that something you'd be excited about, to have this go through Survivor Series, through Royal Rumble, through Day One, that other pay-per-view they got coming up January 1st, all the way up to Royal Rumble, to see these two, to WrestleMania, to see these two go against each other again? Or would you prefer, let's get this out the way, maybe end it at the Rumble, and then have, the Rumble winner go against Roman? What's the preferred route here for this feud? Devin, this is your guy, so maybe I should start with you.
You already know his answer.
Formality, sir.
Well, basically, I know you think Roman's going all the way to WrestleMania, so that is what it is. But my question is more about, should it be Brock, or should you get the Brock feud out the way and have it be someone else? Because I don't think The Rock, and let me throw this out there too, it feels like The Rock is not going to be an option for this year.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. So for this year, it would have to be someone else, a Drew McIntyre or someone else like that. So what do you think? Do you think, let's just keep this going? Because it felt great. And I felt like now with Brock being a face and Roman being this heel, that, even stateside, that crowd would be into it. They'd be into that matchup at a WrestleMania. And Drew, I think they got some work to do to get Drew back up to where he was at the height of his powers, basically. But so do you think Brock at Mania, or do you think someone else versus the Tribal Chief?
Nah. Brock. This
you want Brock?
I want the story has been too damn good. Soap opera, Jerry Springer, all that good stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Paul Heyman for the streets type of good. Love that contract signing, by the way. Rewind a little bit. The Tribal Chief, he signs his contract. And you just see Brock, he just signed. He ain't even looking.
Oh, yeah.
That was
just signed it. Man, Tribal Chief call him out, man. You just a big dumb farmer, huh? Now you even look at the contract.
Brock, the best line, though, for that.
I already looked at the contract. With my advocate this morning. Right. I was like, mouth drop.
Yes.
I was like, Paul is for the streets, bro. Paul is for the streets, bro. Oh, say it ain't so, Paul.
No.
You trying to get in where you fit in like that? Oh, you want all your cake. You want it all. You want the Tribal Chief. You want the beast. You want it all, sir. I ain't even mad at you.
I think Paul ain't the problem. I still think it's going to be Jimmy.
Oh,
really?
So you think Jimmy is going to turn on Roman?
I think it's still Jimmy, yes.
Really?
Uso versus Uso. Still holding on to. I'm wearing my Jimmy shirt.
I don't know.
You know what?
I think the Tribal Chief got him in line. Tribal Chief got him in line.
No, I don't think it's over.
Ooh, I like that. If they paid that off to say, you know what, Jimmy's still holding that grudge. Like, deep down inside, he's like, you know
if
what?
If they thought like me, I would.
Yeah. Oh, man. Jimmy versus Jay. Well, no, hold on. Which one are we talking about? We're talking about Jimmy, that nobody's bitch, right? Like, he's still holding the grudge.
Yeah.
Really?
Jimmy,
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Interesting. Okay. So in context of this conversation here with WrestleMania, is Jimmy versus Roman something you would want to see at a WrestleMania?
Oh no, not WrestleMania.
Okay. Just so that I'm clear on that.
No, not WrestleMania. I just still think that he will end up turning, and then that will set up the whole Jay versus Jimmy.
So, reason why I got turned around a little bit is when you guys were saying that, I was actually thinking about Jay. That if Jay, because he went away for a while, and then he came back and he was cool. Did. Yeah, cool. Yeah, but what if he's not cool? What if he went away and he thought about it and he's like, you know what, everyone's just kind of using me. My brother's here calling me Roman's bitch. Roman is just like, which one are you? I'm even doing it live on this show. When we record, I'm like, wait, which one are we talking about? So, what if Jay is still like, something happened when he went away and he's like, okay, I'm going to do this thing, but I'm going to bide my time and I'm going to eventually, because I feel like Jay, he transformed during that whole feud with Roman. I see him in a whole nother light. And I love Jimmy. Like before all this, actually, Jimmy was my favorite Uso before all of this.
I couldn't tell.
Now, actually, for me, I'm more on Team Jey Uso. Like Jey Uso, he seems like the harder one, like the get things done, scrappy, like badass. Like I just feel like I believe he's about just doing whatever it takes to get the job done. But Roman and everybody kind of, being in his ear, at a certain point, he had enough. And what if it's like now he's like, okay, let me bide my time, and then we get to Mania, and maybe he wins the Rumble, and then we get Jey versus Roman at WrestleMania. I actually would be okay with that. I feel like Jey, he could, in my eyes, when he went against Roman at that Hell in a Cell, I was like, man, I could really see this man as Universal Champion. Like I really could see it. And all this build up, like Devin, to your point about, Roman holding the title for such a long time, so that the person that takes it from him gets all that power. Like everything that you've done, all the build up like that, whoever gets it next, that's a made man.
It is.
Who better to make that made man than a guy like Jey?
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, right now I'm just not there. I was there.
Nah, he ain't hitting.
I'm just not there.
Story time, Drew ain't hitting for me.
Nah, I'm just not. I think
Drew or Sheamus, one or the other. Because that's like the only two that they have on SmackDown now. Sheamus or Drew McIntyre.
I don't want to see Sheamus. I love Sheamus. I think Sheamus has been doing a great job, overall, like in this new like bar fight Sheamus, like gear and everything. I think he's been doing great. But him versus Roman for the time, I can't.
Or Jeff Hardy.
No, I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I thought about it for 2 seconds. I'm like, no.
For the attraction. Black people still love Jeff. Everybody still loves Jeff. So.
Everybody loves Jeff.
Jeff for the culture.
Loves Jeff.
Yep.
You know what? Remember
Give him the title shot.
I feel like he may get a title shot. I feel like it might happen that he gets a title shot. He's not going to win, but I do feel like it could happen because, with him and Damian Priest, you felt it. Like the crowd was really getting behind Jeff and loving Jeff. So I could see maybe, there's just, maybe at day one, they have it be Roman versus Jeff for the title, just to give us that moment, and tease us a little bit. It's not happening, but
he might bring him to the island. See what's up.
I can see it. I can see it.
It got to because after Brock, who else? Because that SmackDown roster for Roman is not. It's only 3 people.
Stacked.
Like with 2 people, it's not as stacked.
Yeah.
So
maybe
the betting
go back
odds
to 2016, like the land of opportunity. Like go back to that type of format.
You mean like open challenges or
open challenges? They might. How they can do with this roster, because the roster is not what it used to be.
Right.
Right now
they got Drew and
Fox is upset,
right?
Because thinking about SmackDown's roster, I really can't. Outside of Drew, I think the logical choice would be Drew McIntyre. It makes sense. It's right there. It does make sense. I feel like Drew's stock has dropped so much, that it doesn't excite me like it did when they went against each other at Survivor Series. At Survivor Series, I was like, oh man, I want to see this at Mania. They've got the next, major, this is not on this level at all, but like a Rock and Stone Cold, like it could have been that had Drew really been able to keep that momentum going. But that momentum just feels like it's just gone. Like it's just
that's not really his fault. They was trying to John Cena him too much.
Yeah.
That and Drew reminds everyone the pandemic, and everybody kind of want to get over that right now. So.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just get to it.
Drew was
be real.
The COVID champion, and now you look at him, you're like, you 2020, man. I don't know. I don't want to see you just yet. I think he just gotta bring back that old Drew McIntyre, the nice and
he need a vacation.
He needs to get away for a little bit. We need to miss him a little bit and then come back, either not really a heel, but just someone different, slightly different. But
I wouldn't mind him as a heel, honestly.
Everybody was tired of him as a champion towards the end of his title reign, and so that's why I said like he was the pandemic champion. When people see him, that's what they think about, and they think about the way he was, the way they tried to keep him the same as he was during the pandemic, and it's not working in front of the live crowd for some reason. So I think he just needs to get away for a while and then come back when we miss him.
I just looked up the SmackDown roster.
I'm looking at it too, actually.
I saw your hand. I was like, yeah, I think he just said that. And I looked. I was like, well, I know he's Intercontinental Champion, but maybe Nakamura gets a shot,
dude.
Ooh, it's
maybe.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Do that
right.
Maybe. And I always forget he's the IC champ too. Always forget. That's a shame.
Maybe they
don't do
heat up
anything with him
Ricochet for a quick one shot deal. Ricochet and Roman Reigns. I saw this name though. He's not drafted. What y'all think about Elias?
Oh hell no!
He can't rebrand.
Hey, what happened to them Elias promos? He was supposed to come back, and Elias is dead now.
I've been wanting to know what happened to him too. I'm like, they was teasing it, but then what happened?
Yeah.
Shit.
I don't know.
Forgot.
Yeah, Nick Khan about to holler at him.
Right.
right.
Karrion Kross in SmackDown. Karrion Kross.
No. I think he's on Raw.
He's on
Raw.
He's on Raw. I believe.
Yeah, they don't really have anybody.
It's kind of right. Yeah. I don't know, man.
It's a lot of people for the IC title.
Yeah,
the IC. Yes. It's
a lot of mid card
very
people.
Mid card.
Right. I don't really see. I don't see any chinks in the bloodline until they start losing. Like Jimmy, I like the Jimmy idea, but I don't see them coming up. I think Jimmy might just be going along with the wave because everybody got gold right now. And maybe after Mania season is over, so I see Roman Reigns going in as champion to Mania. He's their guy, right? Yeah, maybe he loses it to whoever. Maybe they do reheat Drew McIntyre. I don't want to see him win the Rumble, but maybe they reheat him and make him a convincing challenger. He gets his win back from Survivor Series last year, right? And you see, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns. I got another idea for Brock, if not Roman Reigns. Maybe, just maybe, we finally get the Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley match.
Yes.
It's not happening.
Be real.
He's a free agent. Brock is a free agent.
I mean, maybe they build it up to Mania, or not to Mania. Maybe they build up, Brock and Roman to, Royal Rumble time, and then he loses clean again, and then Bobby Lashley finally gets that he calls him out. Listen, you over there mess with Tribal Chief. I've been calling your name. I've been saying Candyman. What's up? So,
man, I mean, Xavier got the king of the ring. Like, give Bobby this. Yeah. Like, let's just make dreams come true. Come on, man.
Look how long it took for his dream to come true.
Yeah.
This is the year for it. Let's go.
True enough.
Dang, David, they only got 2 opponents for your Tribal Chief.
You done cleared them out.
It's gonna be work. Now the Tribal Chief Farm Factory. That's all right. They get it back cracking again.
Farm Factory. Oh my goodness. So I think coming out of this, it seems pretty much that it's one or two names probably in Mania. It's going to be Drew McIntyre or it's going to be Brock Lesnar. Like that just seems to be the most logical choice for him at Mania. I don't know. I could see it going either way. Rumors, if they're to be believed, then they're going to try to lengthen this out, and it'll end up being Brock Lesnar because that's a big money match. Sells itself. I think that Mania crowd will eat it up. More casuals with hardcore fan, all alike. I think everybody will just eat that kind of stuff up. So, yeah.
Or what if they lie to us and Rock actually do come out?
I mean, that'd be crazy, right? That would be crazy. I think it's next year. Because next year is in LA, right?
Next year is LA after Dallas.
It just
2022 is Dallas.
Yeah.
I hope they keep that format, the 2 nights of WrestleMania. because I feel that's the way it needs to evolve if it's going to be.
I can't go back
to
to
seven and a half hour full time work shift.
I'll split it up.
Lock in.
I'm still gonna split it up regardless
Lock in.
of what they do it. Yeah, seriously.
Brock does make sense. That would be a trilogy. That'd be a Mania trilogy. 31, 34. Was this 38? So there's that aspect.
And right now,
you hear the rock music, like.
Good Lord, yeah. We'll see. But it'll be something to watch to see. And now, just with us talking, it'll be something to see who they try to build up, as potential contenders on the road to Mania. Because it seems like slim pickings. I mean, King Nakamura or Shinsuke is not King anymore, but Shinsuke, I feel like that's a good call out. I would love to see them propel Shinsuke to that level. Have him drop the IC title to somebody and then go after Roman, and let's see what happens there. That's a good one. But yeah, outside of that, Brock.
Have him and Xavier Woods go at it, man. Former king, new king.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to talk about that. So he's king now. Could you see Xavier versus Roman?
Be a dope episode of SmackDown. Be a dope SmackDown episode.
There we go. I think you said it right. You said it right. SmackDown worthy episode.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks main event. Build.
There we go. Okay.
Xavier puts up a hell of a fight.
Yeah, because Xavier would work him a little bit.
He would.
He would work.
It'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
Because he's some kind of believable up until,
Because he did good against Bobby Lashley by himself.
Yeah, he did. He did really good.
Cool. All right. So we went through that. Basically now I think we'll just cap it with grades on Crown Jewel in general. So, we've said a lot of things about, how we felt, the highs and lows, couple newsworthy things that came out of the matches and post Crown Jewel Raw and SmackDown results. But now just to put a bow on it, let's go around the horn, give our grades. Let's go Devin, I'll go you first, and then we'll work our way around, man. What's your letter grade your score overall for this one?
I'm going to give it a solid A for Crown Jewel.
Wow. Okay.
Because you know what? That crowd brought it. That actually helped me digest the Goldberg and Bobby Lashley. They helped elevate that match, I think. It was already slapping, but the crowd going nuts, it just helped elevate that match even more. So, and then, the main event match with the Tribal Chief and Brock, and you got Paul Heyman adding the extra drama in there, throwing in the belt perfectly square in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Pinpoint. I was like, wow, that's equally on, between the two. Okay.
Too equal. Right. Roman caught that.
Right, he did.
This is how you do it. This is how you do it. Let's practice. That shit in my hands. When I ask you.
He was on him. He was on him the next night.
Yep.
As soon as they got off the flight, you need to address this. They spent a whole 40 minutes addressing this. Get no wrestling. And you know what? I didn't care. That was sports entertainment at its best right there.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But the Crown Jewel, it was a solid show. It had some low lights, but even the crowd, like I said before, I got to come back to the crowd. The crowd brought it. I saw the expressions on their face. I loved it. I even predicted that, but it was still good, man. Because just seeing the international love for wrestling, that they definitely appreciate the WWE. A little bit different than us, but they just seeing that, man. I had love for that. So solid A.
Perfect. Okay, Kiki, you're next. What's your letter grade?
I'll give it a B plus.
Okay. All right, solid. And
just because the Queen's Court. Mess.
That's what drops it down for you. Okay.
And Stink Man and Randy Orton match.
Stink Man. What you got against Riddle?
He looked like he stank. Like he's annoying. Why they got the belts?
I respect it. Jove, you up next, man. What's your
Let's go. Let's give it a B++. Wow. I can't. Let's
give it an A.
Right, man. You're
right. right there.
Maybe I'm hating.
Habitual line stepper right there, bro.
Right. Got like a movie, Rotten Tomatoes.
You know,
I'm gonna B+.
How many pluses does it take to get into an A?
Yeah, I think for me it was Queen's Crown. That really did it. Also, I mean, it was short enough to where it was inoffensive, and the match was decent. The match was decent for the quick little 4 minutes. The Raw Tag Team Championship match, which again wasn't bad. Nothing was bad on the card, and the Queen's Crown match was short enough to not be bad. We didn't really talk too much about Hell in a Cell, at least getting in depth with it, but like Hell in a Cell, that was a great match. Yeah. It had me wondering, like pro wrestling logic is so fun because like, why is a ladder under the ring? Like, you could maybe make the case for a table, maybe a chair, but like, why are kendo sticks available anyway?
Right.
B++ only because I think the only thing that really feels consequential outside of the the Hell in a Cell match to an extent was Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, and there's more story to be told there. So it was on paper a stacked card. Nothing was bad. It just didn't really feel like it truly meant anything, which I think is just kind of the overall issue with WWE pay-per-views. Nothing feels like it really means too much lately.
JD, what you got?
I'm gonna give it a B+, 1+ over here. The Queen's Tournament, it was definitely short. The Raw Tag Team title, it did feel more like a Raw match versus really a special pay-per-view. The crowd was great. When the pay-per-view first started, I thought they piped in sound because of how loud they were. And it was really a shame because I really had to really check. I was looking at the audience to make sure it was actually them that was being that loud. But yeah, I was happy that they were pretty loud. And then also with the Goldberg match, the way that it just felt like they kind of dumbed down the Hurt Business a little bit for as dominant as they were when before Bobby Lashley's title reign, with that. But yeah, it was mainly the Queen's Tournament and also the Raw Tag Team titles. Just kind of brought it down for me.
Okay. So we got Kiki, yours was a B or B+?
B+.
B+. So we got pretty much B+ and A's. Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's tough because some of the stuff that you guys were okay with, I can't. The more you talk about it, when you talk about that Goldberg, Bobby Lashley, talk about those damn kendo sticks with the Hurt Business and how he just took them all out. I'm like, no. So about quick. Dude, man, I'm still mad about that.
Yeah.
That the Raw Tag Team Championship matchup, Queen's Crown and even King of the Ring. I love that Xavier won. I was happy he won, but just like the way they didn't really build it up, I'm like, man, it should have been so much more. The things that I really loved about it was the main event, the Hell in a Cell matchup, and the triple threat for the SmackDown Women's Championships. Those are the things that absolutely I was like, oh, this is great. And I'll give a special shout out Mansoor and Mustafa Ali. Yeah. That was a solid matchup overall too.
I keep forgetting about that match.
Yeah, it's somewhat forgettable, which sucks because it was a good match. But yeah, I feel the same way. I gotta go C+ with this one. I'm gonna be the lowest one here. Yeah. Just because, I feel like,
my God, C+.
Hey man, that's where my heart. And I was tempted to say B-. Was
it really the Goldberg they hit you like that,
dude? I can't. They did my boy Bobby wrong, and then the Hurt Business just looked weak as hell. We talking about Charlotte feeling like she was gonna look weak. How does the Hurt Business look right now?
Yeah, true.
Goldberg take the three of you out like that.
Hey man, the Saudi crowd ate it up, man. They popped. They were like, oh!
Wish they would, I was
enjoying it. I'm like, why not? I'm gonna have fun with it too.
They were the real MVPs of this card. The Saudi crowd and just how invested they were, the chants and everything. It made it fun to watch, regardless of how I felt about some of the matches and some of the build and all that. Like I said, I wasn't really excited about this one going in, but it surprised me from the standpoint that it wasn't bad, it wasn't terrible, but I had a really low expectation. So for me, I just feel like there's still work to be done, when it comes to really, if this is gonna be a consistent thing, we're gonna keep doing this pay-per-view, then let's build these matches a little bit better. The main event was built perfectly. Edge and Seth was built perfectly, but you do the first ever Queen's Crown like this, Xavier's win finally to be King of the Ring like this. Nah, I can't. It's just a bad taste in my mouth from those. So it's kind of a mixture of things, but C plus for me. It feels right for the way I feel about it. So I just gotta be real. I'm sorry.
I won't argue that, son.
I was like,
I'm gonna stand on that C plus.
That way it's not too far from you guys. But I'm like, you know what? Nah, man, I gotta be real. So C plus. Sorry, C plus is what you get from me. All right, so
this is so hard.
Hey, man, it's just what it is. It's just what it is. But
shit.
I respect
that does it. That does it for this recap of Crown Jewel. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor sharing this time with you guys. I'm going to go around the horn and give you all a chance to shout out what you got going on, your social medias, let the people know what you got going. And so for the newest person to join us here on the Clark Street Wrestling Podcast, I'm going to start with you. Yes. Kiki, please tell the people where they can catch you.
I am on Instagram, Queen K Wrestling News. Also, I am on Twitter. I done took over the podcast page. He let me have it. He was tired of the DM, so he let me have a page. So it's Destiny Duo 3. That's all me now. Yeah, you can catch me on there.
Awesome. And Jove,
yes.
Tell the people where they can catch you.
Absolutely. Hit me on Twitter and the Instagrams at Juvie Desayuno, JUVIDESAYUNO. Check out the show page. Me and my tag team partner Big Ren on the show page on Twitter and the Instagrams at The Hard Camera. Check us out. Live coverage, live witticisms, whatnot, heretofore, etc., and things of that nature. Appreciate y'all having me on.
It's a joy. It's a joy and a pleasure, man. Thank you. JD, we have done so many episodes with you. We just had you on the last one. You're kind of like family at this point. But as always, please tell the people where they can catch you.
You can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at JDC137. You can also find the podcast at WrestleBread on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It also has a YouTube channel, which I'm still trying to work on. I also have a Twitch channel right now where I'm playing, as of right now, The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima. The podcast will be live for the last time on this Thursday, but the episodes will be pre-taped after that. So you can catch new episodes live. You can catch new episodes every Friday, starting in November as well.
Awesome. Devin, the floor is yours. Yes. Tell the people where they can catch us.
First of all, I want to thank our lovely guests, Kiki, Jove, JD. Thank you for answering the call, joining this awesome panel, giving your strong opinions about wrestling. I appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you
for
having me.
Because I'm an AEW stan. I thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised we didn't get into it, but
I thought we were because I was ready. I was ready.
No AEW talk because I'm real strong about that.
The only thing I'm going to say, I'm going to sneak this one in because I was thinking about it. Crown Jewel, for all the controversy and everything, they still managed to get 2 women's matches on Crown Jewel, and AEW Dynamite, still to this day, they're still giving us 1 women's match each Dynamite.
That's not true. No.
Oh, man. Consistently.
It has been consistently now. On
Rampage,
Rampage and Dynamite.
See, that's what I said. Wait.
We're saying 2 a week, or we're saying 2 an episode? I want 2 an episode. That's what I'm looking for.
It has been 2 an episode.
You'll find Anna Jay in a tag match.
Okay. I'm just saying, I'm wanting that because I feel like that women's division, they're not getting enough credit. I think they have the talent there now. So I want to see more from them. But Hey, we'll get that. We're gonna have it. So we'll have you back.
The TBS tournament is starting tomorrow.
It'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah, it'll get there.
I love that. That is a step in the right direction.
It is.
For the TBS championship.
At least they know that they have that issue.
Yes.
I think it was a network thing anyway. So they at least they admit that they have that issue and they're working on it. Not Queen's tournament for 2 minutes. And Women's Revolution that they're gonna keep, mentioning from afterwards. So, I appreciate
Shida versus Serena Dev tomorrow.
Hey, the TBS, the tournament for the TBS championship will be done with more respect and care than the Queen's Crown was. That is without a doubt.
Yeah.
So I am definitely excited for
I
that.
think the Ruby match was longer than the whole tournament. I think someone pointed that out. That Ruby match was longer than the whole tournament. So I think it'll get there. It'll get there.
Step in the
Penelope 4.
Oh man! All right.
Possibly something to talk about for After Hours. We'll see.
That's a debate. That's a debate we'll have on another episode.
Right. And I got one more big shout out to do for good brother Bove and Kofi Weaston of the Dirty Hills podcast, getting ready for their 2-year. I say 2-year in the game for podcasting. So big congrats. Salute to you guys.
Congrats.
You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the 2 and Up club.
Okay.
All right. Now get down to formalities. If you want to check us out, we got one stop and shop website, ClarkStreetWrestling.com, ST for the abbreviation, where you get all your audio for your podcast and video on the website, and of course our beautiful merch.
Get your merch.
Fall season, still get beach towels. If you're down in the Southern Hemisphere, South America, we got listeners down there, viewers down there. We got Aussie down there, Australia. We see y'all, mate. Go ahead and get the beach towels down there. We got y'all. All right, if you up here with us, get a little fall season, get your hoodies. All right, get Clark Street Wrestling hoodies. We got y'all.
You can still get your beach towel.
It's hot somewhere.
It's hot somewhere. It is. Yes. My co-host pointed that out. I'm like, you're right. This is hot somewhere. Yes.
In Nigeria, you get that heat regardless. It happens. So yes.
ClarkStreetWrestling.com/store for your pleasure. It is exciting.
Yes. And with that said, that's going to do it for this recap episode here. For JD, for Jove, for Kiki, for Devin, I'm Hafeez. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the Clark Street Wrestling podcast. Knowledge us.
Lord. It was going well.